So today is my 1,360th daily trash pickup here at one of my local parks. It is Saturday, April 15th, 2023. Got a full bucket of trash here in Alum Rock Park, east of San Jose. This place is finally open after being closed for 3.5 months. We had a pretty significant storm system make landfall in the Bay Area around New Year's Day, and that caused a lot of landslides, a lot of rock slides, and some flash flooding in this park. However, having walked around this area already, you know what? I don't see any reason why this place should have been closed for 3.5 months. And that's kind of disappointing. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about park management styles and some of the differences that I've noticed between Southern California and Northern California. Because there's actually quite a big disconnect between the two. This video is going to be very long. I'm going to have to post this onto YouTube because I only am given 2.5 minutes on Twitter to post a video, and I cannot get out all of my points in that short of an amount of time. So, yesterday's hike was very interesting. I had a conversation with a local hiker who's there quite frequently, and I'd seen this person in the past, hadn't seen them in quite a while, but we had a good 30-minute conversation walking up the mountain there, and I thought it was very rewarding and enlightening. I don't know if they picked up on it, but I certainly did. Our politics were polar opposite. I think if we were talking about anything but parks, we might have had quite a few disagreements, but we did agree on how to manage park systems. So they told me 2 stories of the park rangers in this park recently that kind of frightened me, and I don't know if they're actually true. And you're hearing this fourth hand, but given what I've seen out here in the past, I wouldn't actually be all that surprised if this happened. So apparently last summer, there was a group of 10 friends that was running up that same hiking trail together during the middle of the day, and a park ranger came up to them and asked them if they had a permit. What? A permit? They're hiking. It's a hiking trail. And the park ranger said, well, if you want to hike in a big group like this, which was 10 people, you need to call the county office and get a permit. Now, if you have like an event with 500 people and you're like raising money for something like that, yeah, you might need a permit for everyone to go hike out that trailhead at the same time, because you might want an ambulance on standby in case someone gets heat exhaustion. But 10 people? Are you serious? This park ranger, apparently, I can't corroborate this story fully, was threatening the hikers to give him a ticket. And they ended up only giving them a citation, but, you know, that's a wild story. And I actually expect that in a place like this. I don't know why, but in the Bay Area, there is a lot more government oversight over these parks. In fact, on today's hike alone, there's like 13 guys standing by the parking lot directing people where to park, because most of the park is closed and just the first parking lot is open right now. 13 guys over in the parking lot and a whole bunch of park rangers driving back and forth on this roadside here. While I'm cleaning up the trash, who knows what the heck they're doing. I don't know. But given what I saw today, given what I've seen in recent years out here, I actually wouldn't be surprised if that story of a park ranger threatening to give a ticket to 10 hikers hiking together was true. The other story this individual told me was about how last fall there were 2 hikers who wanted to go on a hike after sunset in the park, which, you know, the park says gates close at 30 minutes past sunset. They said, whatever, we want to go on a hike anyways. And so they did it. They parked outside the park boundaries on this road next to the, in the neighborhood there. And a police officer driving by late at night saw these 2 cars, wondered if the people who those cars belonged to were on the hiking trail, and sat there for an hour and waited for them to come back down the mountain, which they did, and the cop proceeded to give them a ticket for going on the park overnight. That's crazy to me. Because at my home park in Southern California, there's 2 reasons why the park rangers don't close our gates every night. The first reason is there are no gates at the trailheads. It's just, welcome to the local park. Here's the trail. There's no gate. The second reason why the park rangers don't close them is because there are no park rangers to close these non-existent gates. It's just a natural area. And I'll tell you what, the volunteers that take care of that park, which is many times more popular than Alum Rock Park here in the Bay Area, we do one hell of a good job of keeping that place in shape. Okay, there is an enormous amount of trash that continues to pour into the park every single day. I have to clean up that place every single day with 2 buckets, not just one, to keep up with the sheer amount of littering. You saw that last week with all my cleanups at home. We have people who go out there and clean up the graffiti. We have people who go out there and clear the invasive species. In fact, we're about to do a really big invasive species cleanup this summer and fall in that park, and it's amazing. Most of this work is done by volunteers, and unofficial ones at that. So what's my point of all this? Well, from what I can tell, there's no good that can come with governments helicopter parenting us on whether or not we can go hiking in our local areas. I'll tell you what, I'm actually furious that they closed this place down for 3.5 months. The landslides that I saw on this trail alongside that hill back there, that did not warrant a 3.5-year closure of the park. If you wanted to close the park to cars because one of the roads is kind of washed out a little bit, that's fine. But closing it for 3.5 months because some rocks came down, that's absurd. I've never seen anything like that happen in Southern California. In fact, we've had landslides that have sent people to the hospital and have only closed one section of the park for 45 minutes. So I don't really know what's going on up here in the Bay Area with these trails. But part of why I believe those stories is real is because I have one of my own. 2 of them my own, actually. I've been berated before for cleaning up the creek in this park by park rangers. They thought I was fishing, even though I had trash in my bucket. I don't have any fishing gear on me. They gave me a lecture for 10 minutes about how the creek is protected when I'm sitting there cleaning up trash that they failed to clean up. Second story is just a few weeks ago, I did a hike over at Joseph Grant Lake, east of San Jose. I forked over $6 to park in that parking lot. And let me tell you, when I pay $6 to park at a hiking trail, I better not find a single damn piece of trash. And within 5 minutes of my hike, right on the side of the trail, I found a Fritos wrapper from 2007 when I was in the 2nd grade. 5 minutes into the hike. I don't know where these $6 are going. I don't know where these park rangers are doing. I don't know why they're handing out tickets to people going on hikes because there's a group of 10 of them. Our natural areas are suffering. I have conducted 200 cleanups in this park. I've done plenty of cleanups here in Alum Rock Park, east of San Jose, in which the trash I was pulling out was 2, 3, in some cases 4 times older than me. My general theory is that if you want to manage a park, you have to go on defense. Think about it. I'm the guy who cleans up one of Southern California's most popular hiking trails, and I am perfectly okay with more people coming into the park and more litter appearing in the park if it means that more people can enjoy the natural world. I'm willing to go out there every single day where the average high temperature is 96 degrees Fahrenheit to keep the park clean, because I believe that everyone should have free access to the natural world at any time of day, at any time of year. How's it going?
Okay.
And the reason why is because we have had a disconnect with the natural world. That's part of why the climate crisis is getting so much worse. If people can visit these areas more frequently, if they can watch them go through season change, they can watch droughts hit these places and flash floods hit these places, they're going to see the impacts of climate change much more than just, oh, everything looks green and therefore everything in the park is perfectly fine. Parks should be free. Parks should be open 24 hours a day. If you want to go hiking at 2 in the morning during a rainstorm, have at it. Please be careful. You probably shouldn't. We're going to recommend against it, but we're not going to stop you. Parks should be open 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. Sure, if there's a particular location where people keep falling off the mountain and their head splits open on the rocks below, yeah, people shouldn't be going up there. We should close that down. I certainly know a few locations in Southern California where a non-existent trail has claimed the lives of more than a dozen people over the past several years. Those places should be closed. But a place like this, no. The mental health of Americans is in the gutter. And I'll tell you what, as a college student who spends 14 hours a day doing coursework, working 2 jobs, managing websites, managing social media accounts, and doing these cleanups, part of why I cannot cut out these cleanups from my schedule is because this is how I relax. This is how I unwind. This is how I step out of my other life and just enjoy the natural area. But if it's closed because a couple boulders came down on a trail a few months ago, now I'm going to be angry at the park management for deprioritizing these areas. Maybe it's not even the park management's fault. It's probably the higher ups. It could be the board. It could be supervisors. It could be, who knows? If you want to manage a park correctly, you got to do it on defense. People are going to litter. You can't stop them. You can't put up signs that say $1,000 for littering. It won't work. You can't put up cameras to give out citations for littering. It won't work. You can't put up extra trash cans and hope people use them. It won't work. Those things may help a little bit, but they're not the solution. If you want to get trash out of the natural area, you have to do just that. Go out with a bucket and a pair of gloves and do the work. If you want people to stop using trail cuts, you can't put up signs that say, this is a trail cut. Please don't use this. They're not going to listen to you. You have to go around and cut down the invasive species that are growing in the park and pile all of that vegetative debris on the actual trail cut. Then people would have to sit there with gloves and pull everything off just to use it. They're not going to see it's worth it, and they're going to go all the way around on the proper path like they're supposed to. I don't want to see parks managements on offense. I don't want to see police officers lurking at 9 o'clock at night at the trailhead waiting to give people citations. I want to see defensive park management. That's how I clean up my park at home. That's why Eaton Canyon, despite the fact that there are a lot of people visiting that place right now, littering it, and I'm not there to clean it up, still remains one of Southern California's cleanest hiking trails.